A brief history of language teaching. 500 years ago, Latin was the most widely studied foreign language. It was the dominant language of education, commerce, religion, and government. In the 16th century, French, Italian, and English gained in importance as a result of political changes in Europe, and Latin gradually became displaced as a language of spoken and written communication. The study of classical Latin and an analysis of its grammar and rhetoric became the model for foreign language study, which was taught through learning grammar rules, study of conjugations, translation, and practice in writing simple sentences. Modern languages were taught using the same basic procedures that were used for teaching Latin. The approach became known as the grammar translation method. The grammar translation method was known in the United States as the Prussian method. Some characteristics of this method are detailed analysis of grammar rules, application of this knowledge to the task of translating sentences and text into and out of the target language. Reading and writing are the major focus. Vocabulary selection is based on the reading text used, and words are taught through bilingual word lists, dictionary study, and memorization. The student's native language is used to explain new items. Grammar translation dominated European and foreign language teaching from the 1840s to the 1940s, and it continues to be widely used in some parts of the world today. New approaches to language teaching were developed by individual language teaching specialists. The Frenchman F. Goin is the best known of these mid-19th century reformers. Goins emphasis on the need to present new teaching items in a context that makes their meaning clear and the use of gestures and actions to convey the meanings of utterances. Educators recognize the need for speaking proficiency rather than reading comprehension. Teachers and linguists began to write about the need for new approaches to language teaching. This became known as the Reform movement in language teaching. The Reform movement, phonetics was established into speech processes. The International Phonetic Association was founded in 1886, and its International Phonetic Alphabet was designed to enable the sounds of any language to be accurately transcribed. Reformers believed that spoken language is primary. The finding of phonetics should be applied to teaching and to teaching training. Learners should hear the language first. Words should be present in sentences, and sentences should be practiced in meaningful contexts. The rules of grammar should be taught only after the students have practiced the grammar points in context. Translation should be avoided. The native language could be used in order to explain new words or to check comprehension. In his language school in Boston in the late 1860s, Elsa Venier used a method which became referred to as the natural method. These natural language learning principles provide the foundation for what came to be known as the direct method. Speaking began with systematic attention to pronunciation. Known words could be used to teach new vocabulary using mime, demonstration, and pictures. The direct method was difficult to implement in public secondary school education. It required teachers who were native speakers or who had native-like fluency in the foreign language. The direct method is named direct because meaning should be connected directly with the target language without translation into the native language. It marked the beginning of the method's era. The history of language teaching throughout the 20th century saw the rise and fall of a variety of language teaching approaches and methods, considering the following assumptions. An approach or method refers to a theoretically consistent set of teaching procedures that define best practice in language teaching. The quality of language teaching will improve if teachers use the best available approaches and methods. Emerged methods as the audiolingual method and the situational method, which were superseded by the communicative approach. Task-based language teaching emerged as a new approach to language teaching that focuses on the outcomes of learning rather than methods of teaching.